Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This will be part 3 of the Quincy teardown. This is actually going to be a small little video here of how to get the bearings off the crankshaft and how to get the bearing out of the bearing carrier and how to get the valves apart and pressing in and out the wrist pin bushings. As you can see, the casting came quite clean compared to the way it used to look. Get inside here, you can see it's a little bit of rust, but you're going to see that on the high pressure side. Take this off of here. Got a whole box of Quincy parts here. Springs, bushing. This is a low pressure bushing. They didn't send me the high pressure bushing yet. So I got my low pressure rings, new bearings. We won't be putting those on yet because I want to clean the crankshaft. Make sure it's all good and clean. But actually, taking a look at a few things here when it comes to the crankshaft. The actual journal actually polished up fairly well. There's a little bit of rust on here. It's been sitting for a while, but it's actually in really nice shape. And if you look at the main bearing here, you can see where it has just failed on the bottom part, and that's just due to rust and from sitting. And it didn't get by the shaft seal, as you can see. It got past here where the shim pack was and got into the bearing. And as bad as this is, you really didn't even hear it when it was really running. I heard more of a knock than, rough sounding. So we're going to go through how to get that apart. And also we're going to take the rings off the low pressure piston and the high pressure piston. I'll show you how that all goes together and comes apart. Here's some Quincy tools that I thought I'd just drag out and show y'all. Basically, these are tools that they give you. This is kind of for an obsolete head, so it's probably kind of useless in this day and age. This is designed to go onto the head, and this to be a striker, if you will, and you would beat on this to get the valve out of it. This is still in current use. We're going to use this to actually get this hold down off of here, which is basically stuck. That shouldn't be too hard. We're going to have to use the torch to get the bearings off the crankshaft, so we'll use the torch. We'll hit this too and get this apart. So anyway, we're going to get the bearing out of our bearing carrier first, and I'm going to use a slide hammer here. About the only way you can really get one of these things apart is with a slide hammer like this. So we put this thing on the tripod and show you how that's done. Alright, when you get this thing in here, these things have a tendency to want to come out. So what I like to try to do here is step out of the way. Get your adjustable wrench, just get on one side of here. Take your channel locks. Tighten that down and really get some pressure on the jaws. Set this here so it doesn't do any further damage. It should come right out of here. Well, I guess we're going to have to cinch that down a little tighter. See how that does. There we go. It's about the only way to get this out. I don't even know any other way to do it besides a slide hammer like this. And that's all we'll use that for. This came fairly clean. There's a little bit of garbage in here, a little wire wheeling and some cleaning up, and this will turn out just fine. The old bearing, nothing really wrong with it. Well, I wouldn't use it again. Alright, on to the low pressure piston. Just going to remove the rings here. These have a side sealer ring in them. I'll show you that in a second. Though I don't have my needle nose pliers handy to get this apart, I have to use my fingers. It's the oil control ring. This is what sets apart the air compressor from the refrigerant compressor that a lot of people on YouTube try to make a refrigerant compressor and air compressor. This is what sets it apart. The refrigerant compressors don't have an oil control ring like this. Also got our side sealer rings in here, which I'm going to have to get out of here, so I'm going to pause that to get the right tool. Well, I can't find my needleless pliers that's been ground down here to reach inside of here, so I just have to do it somewhat of a crude way. That should still work. These things will bite you without that tool. They're a pain in the ass. Here we go. One down, one to go. Yeah. Anyway, you would grab it like this. If it was right, just pull this right out of here. Alright. Remove our snap rings. It's a fighting afternoon, I see. So I need to try a different pair. I've actually taken and manipulated the teeth on this thing. It's a snap-on. It's supposed to be pretty good. That's how easy it should have been. And here I have my friend arriving, it sounds like. So then, crudely enough, I'm just going to use an extension here. Alright, well I'm in my garage now, and what we're going to do here is press out the bushings, and then so I can clean these rods up real good, and I'll press in the new bushings later, but I'm going to show you how to press out the old bushings for now. I'm going to use a hydraulic press here. You can use an arbor press. This is just what I have handy. I don't have an arbor press, so I'm going to have to kind of rig something up here. So basically what I got here is, I've got the low pressure rod, and I actually have this little bearing insert tool right here that fits directly in here, and it's just smaller than the bushing, so you can actually push this right out of here. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that on the high pressure one first, and then we'll do the low pressure one next. Alright, with the rod in the hydraulic press here, you can see I've got the ram right up here on the top, and I got the rod suspended by a couple of sockets on each side right here. This one, the bushing will fall right down in the inside diameter of that socket, and so it'll just be a matter of pumping the jack here a few times, and hopefully it'll move on out of it. There she goes. Now I'm going to have a problem here because everything's going to fall to pieces when I get to the end. So bear with me. Alright, this is going to take two hands. Hell, maybe even three. Alright, just to the end. I think I may have bottomed out on the socket. Let's just lift this up and see where we're at. This is hanging in here precariously. Yeah, I just kind of bottomed out on the bushing. Alright, the high pressure rod actually, this piece right here actually was just hanging on, and I just knocked it out with a hammer. That is the old bushing right there. You can see that. We got the low pressure one on with a longer deep well socket, and this should come right out of here this time. Here we go. A little bit of resistance, but okay, the sound you like to hear. There was nothing wrong with the low pressure bushing, but on accident they sent me the wrong one and the pin's still good, so I'm just going to go ahead and basically reuse the old pin, clean it up, and have a new bushing put in it. Well, with a little bit of heat, this came out of here. Look how nasty it looks. Check it out when it goes back together again. Alright, with a torch I'm going to remove the bearings. Now with a friend, I'm going to hold the torch. Very nice. Alright, after removing the bearings here, with a little bit of difficulty, I might say, but I haven't done it quite some time. I forgot how hard they can be to get off. What I want to do here is remove all the plugs here so when we clean it really good. And what I noticed, I kind of just put this one back in here. A little bit of a rest. This is the one that's got the orifice on it. That's the one that's closest to the crankcase. And I don't know if you can see in here, but there's something almost obstructing the view, or the passageway. At any rate, it's kind of hard to see. I don't even know if you'll be able to see it on YouTube. So, got that off, and I'm going to soak this in the cleaner.